All right, so we live now, people. We live. What up? We got RKT Appraisals in the building. We got Killing Me Rashidi in the building. So what's going on, guys? How's everything going?
What's going on? Everything is cool.
Everything's popping. Everything's good. Everything's chill. Everything's all good and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yes,
man.
Sir. Can't complain.
That's what's up. So tell us about this topic about how, different generations and how does that impact like money, wealth, and all that other type of stuff. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, so I'll start it off. So first off, before we even get into that, do you guys even know what generation that we all belong to?
Right. I think what am I generation? I forgot. Is it Generation Z? No, I'm not Generation. I'm Generation X, right?
Yeah. No, you're not Generation X.
Really? What am I? Am I the? What?
I know, but I was curious to know if you guys knew.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I know your
Gen
birthday.
X is 1960s
I know
1980s, right?
The thing is, it's the year. I know.
You got to break it down.
Yeah, Mr. Locario, I know you're 81, correct?
Yeah, right.
Miles, are you 81 as well? And Rashidi, you're 85, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I'm 86. So we're all millennials.
Right, yeah.
I made the last cut because 81 is the last year for millennials.
That's crazy. Right? I heard millennials are the worst, but go
ahead. and the thing is about the different generations, they all play somewhat of an impact in society, right? However, there is one generation that stands out the most, and people don't realize this, right? So what I'm gonna actually tell y'all the different generations that's there. So from oldest to youngest. So we have the baby boomers, which is from, if you were born from 1946 to 1964, that's baby boomers. Generation X from 1965 to 1980. See, I just missed the Generation X cut.
Right.
Millennials from 1981 to 1996. Generation Z, which I think is called Generation Zoomers, right? From 1997 to 2009. And then Generation Alpha from 2010 to current date. So those are the different generations.
Wow, that's crazy.
But the most important one, I wouldn't say important, I don't want to use that word, but the most impactful generation, which one do you guys think it is out of all of those?
Baby boomers.
It gotta be generation, it gotta be millennials, because that's where I'm from. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just being biased, but I don't know. What's this? Which one is the most impactful, you think?
At first, I agreed with you until I really did more research and realized, like, wait a minute, we're not that important. Like, we're important, but we're not that important.
Right.
The most impactful generation is the baby boomers.
Wow.
Without a doubt.
And why is that? Why is that?
I got you right now. Here's the reason why. All right. From 1946 to 1964, right? You got to remember, during these times, there was no Netflix and chill. There was no, right? So this is right after the Second War, right? Troops came home, didn't have to do, right? There's nothing really to do. They came home to their wives, so they got into other extracurricular activities to get into, right? And that created a lot of babies, hence the word baby boomer. There was never a time in history where there was so many babies being born at one time, right? So I think it was over 76 million babies that were born during this.
Damn, niggas was fucking. Oh, and there wasn't no condoms back then, right?
Exactly. Shooting up the club, no security. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was just going down. Right? So during this time. So what happens from a business perspective, right? When you have so many babies being born, what do you think, in your opinion, what would be the first thing that would sell or make the most money? Something that's dealing with babies, right?
Right.
Things like companies like Mattel, companies like Gerber, companies like Pampers. People don't even realize Pampers was a brand. Up until a couple of years ago, I thought it's actually diapers. It's called diapers, but Pampers is just the brand. That's how good of it. That's how much money they was making. Pampers was making.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Johnson & Johnson.
Yes, you got what I'm saying. Johnson & Johnson. All of these companies were dedicated to the baby boomers, and every company that dedicates their business to the baby boomers, they thrive. And that's just the beginning. It continues, it goes on from there. Think about it. Now the baby boomers, they're like anywhere from a baby till age about 4 or 5 years old. what do most kids do when they reach 4 or 5 years old? 4 or 5 years old. Where do they go?
The
They
school?
They go to school, right?
Right.
Because they go to school. What was the next big, massive expansion? The construction industry.
Oh, schools.
Schools were being built during the 50s and 60s because of the baby boomers. This is not my mistake. This is by design, right?
That's crazy.
Then they're gonna keep getting older. So when they get older, they're not 5 and 6 anymore. They reach about maybe age 15, 16. What do most teenagers want to do at that age?
Beat off.
That too. They're curious, right? That too. But Bozzy crazy. What they want to do is they want to drive. They want to drive. They want to get their license. So then a company like Ford have had its massive expansion. Right? The Mustang was designed specifically for the baby boomers.
Right.
Right? And then they get even older. And then what happens then? Right? When they reach it to anywhere from 25 to 30 years old, most people want to settle down, get married, have children, and buy a what?
A house, right? So now,
so that's when really its biggest expansion. All dedicated to the baby boomers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then even when we go further, even to current time, these baby boomers now are reaching close enough to what? Retirement now.
Right.
That's the next biggest expansion. They say that there's 11,000 people retiring each day. And majority of these people are baby boomers.
Yo, I'll be honest with you. In different places, because I've lived in Florida recently. I live in North Carolina now. It's two main types of construction I see. I see fulfillment centers like Amazon in them.
Okay.
And I see fucking nursing homes, bro.
That's where I was going next.
That's real shit.
So the fact that they're retiring, the next biggest expansion will be nursing homes.
Sorry, too. Nursing homes, and you have what they call 55 and over communities where all of the houses are 1-story houses. Because you know, old people can't be going up and down stairs.
Correct.
So you have these 1-story home developments. You understand? You know how they be having these like, you know, I got a 3-story house, 2-story house. No. These are communities specially made 1-story houses, and a lot of them have like a center where, you know, the nursing aides and shit like that be, you know, dispatched if they need help and all that type of shit.
Right.
And so then it goes from the nursing homes to the final stages will be death for them. So funeral homes soon, not now, but soon, that's going to be the next biggest thing. Nursing homes is all these. I mean, naturally, people pass at whatever time, but that's going to be the next biggest thing after nursing homes when it comes to the baby boomers and their timeline.
Right.
So that, I say, overall, like, yes, do we all contribute to society from our generations? Yes. And was our generation impactful? Yes, because of the transformation from the technologies and the different eras and stages of technology. We played a huge impact in that, but hands down, baby boomers.
Right. That's crazy because it's interesting because when you think about it, then you say, okay, from a business perspective, I don't think a lot of people think about it that way in the sense of thinking about the people in these different generations and what is like the next thing that these people from these generations are going to want. And how do you get into that space to be able to capitalize off the things that those people in that generation are probably going to be gravitating to? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it is too, I think it's about what are you thinking about on your not really spare time, but just on your time in general? Because you know, the average person, they don't have time to think about these things.
Right.
You know, people who sit down and really think about these things are like CEOs and entrepreneurs and business owners. You know, they're already 5 steps ahead.
Right.
Most of them, not all of them, but most business owners are already 5 steps ahead. So they have time to, and it's the statistics and the stats too. They really track these things. Who's tracking them? They're tracking the next big move. They're tracking, okay, how much did this specific industry thrive from? Because of what? Because of who? You know, how long did it last? You know, what was the benefits? What was the assets to the situation? What was the liability? They track all of these things.
You know, I'm thinking that might be the reason for like public school.
Right.
That's definitely a huge part of it. Yes.
To kind of like to see, you know what I'm saying? To kind of see, it's a part of the overall tracking method, right? To see, you know, the ages and how many kids are graduating, how many kids looking for jobs. If they're looking for jobs, then that means they're looking for apartments. If they're looking for apartments, then maybe we should build more apartment complexes.
Right.
If they're looking for cars, maybe we should do this. If they, you understand what I'm saying? Like, where are these kids moving to? You know, what's their, like, it's, look, it's the same reason why Google is so fucking, you know, rich.
Yep.
And you know, because they track our information, and then they use the information and put it into an algorithm to figure out how to get us to buy shit, how to make money off us, how to keep this whole thing going. You know what I'm saying? It's like the cookies and the tracking on your apps and all that type of shit. Like they want to, you know, every time you look at something online, you look at something on your computer, then when you go to your phone and you scrolling through Instagram, you see the same shit in the ad and you like, hold up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's all tracking. But yeah, man, this is heavy information, definitely.
Yeah, because go ahead. No, go ahead. What you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, you know, sometimes you'd be like, yo, like how certain people may think a certain way, right? And people realize, I'm gonna say a huge part of it, but a small part of it is literally what generation you're from. What were happening during the times of our upbringing still predicates on how we think today, regardless of how we accept that or not. Literally. So literally, if you guys were born a year before, your thinking process will be slightly different.
Right. And that's interesting because this is why I think a lot of times where, you know, people from our generation, like millennials, will look at like Gen Z or Gen Alpha or whatever it is, or
Gen Z.
Right.
Well, Gen Z is after us.
Right. And then the Alpha's after that, right?
Right. Yep.
So we would look at them and be like, why the fuck are they doing the shit they doing? You understand what I'm saying? Because it's a different time that we grew up in. And then this is a different time they're growing up in. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of like, it's interesting because if you think about, you know, the Generation Alpha, those kids are growing up in the social media age. You understand what I'm saying? Which, so then you say to yourself, okay, so what does that mean for all of these different industries? And you understand, like, what does that actually mean for other particular, you know, situations that you might want to get in as far as business is concerned? Because you got to say, what are these young kids when they get older, or even you could say millennials, what are millennials now wanting in 2022?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Or what does Gen Z want in 2022? What is the Alpha one in 2022? You see what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's an important question.
You're going to get a different point. Generation. Go ahead, Rashid. I think you want to
say. Yeah. I mean, to your point, Mr. Lucario, that's exactly it, though. It's one of those things where, based off your generation, that's where you want to tie it back into. You want to move a certain way based off what your generation knows and based off of the overlapping generations. So, for example, to your point, Mr. Lucario, the last generation, they're known for being curious and tolerant in the social media era. The reason why they're curious, because their generation, this new generation never did anything. So that's why they're curious. Right. They're tolerant because they don't know any better. So to your point, what you said before, why they be doing certain stuff, because, you know, growing up back in the day, we interacted with people. We ran outside and played with people. This generation, everything is done online. So the new generation now, they don't actually know how to interact with people because everything is done online. So they don't have those interactive skills. So that's why, you know, it's good to know your generation and know your skill set to maneuver things. Because a person from our generation should know how to maneuver, how to use online stuff, and also know how to make money, you know, because we know how to interact with people. So therefore, we know how to interact with the new generation. And if you're a part of the new generation with the online, you have to use your online skills to interact with people and teach them, because you know all the tech savvy stuff and you're up to speed and up to date, and it's seamless to you. So it's really about knowing your generation, what it brings to the table, and use it to your advantage.
I kind of want to just piggyback what you said, Rashidi. You know what's interesting with the millennials is that it's our generation. Honestly, it's very tricky. Here's the reason why. Like, with us, you either are going to get with the program or easily get left behind. You know what I mean? Because we were like raised during the time where technology was just starting to really, not even really take off yet, because it still had its kinks, but
Right.
we went so many eras, like from beepers to
Right. We were like in the middle.
CD. You get what I'm saying? To even a different PlayStations. Technology literally we were growing with it. But if you up with it, you could easily get left behind. Even when it comes to social media, there's a lot of people I know that I don't see on social media, and it's not that they don't want to. I just honestly think that they don't know how to transform into that.
Right.
And you understand, a person that's a Generation Z, he or she already they're literally born into it, so it's okay for them. It's not like it's a thing. For millennials, we have to like really think about it, and it has to click for us. Like, wait a minute, this is the new wave. I have to get with it or get left behind.
Right.
But Generation Alpha, they're right where they need to be. But however, certain things they're not going to appreciate because they didn't have things like we had as millennials or Generation X. Something as simple as like, just like whether you sit down eating with the family, right, at dinner, right? Generation X and Alpha don't do that. They're literally on their phones as they're eating.
Right. Exactly.
Eating. Like, you
See,
know what
that right there is why I don't have kids, because I would have to beat too much ass on a daily fucking basis. Like that right there.
Right. Now, you know what's crazy? Because you remember that fucking book? They had a book called back in the day called Goodnight Moon, right? For kids. So it was like in the book it say, you know, good night cat, good night dog, and then say good night to the moon or whatever, right? Now they have a book called Good Night iPad. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like they hold on, let me see if I can pull this shit up real quick. I'm gonna share the screen. Hold on, let me share the screen real quick.
Good night, smartphone.
Right, exactly. Hold on. Let me try to share the screen real quick. Yeah, this shit right here. Hold on.
Good night, iPad.
Add this shit to the joint. Look at this shit.
Are you kidding?
Good night iPad, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So,
but even for us to be amazed by it is crazy. That's what's crazy to me.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But because, like I said, because we're millennials, we're still like getting comfortable with the new. You get what I'm saying? Or just something as simple as like you might hear a song, right? And you be like, yo, this song is trash. But trash to who? To us, because our sound of music is still in the early 2000s.
Right, exactly. Right. That's what yeah, it's true. That's what happens. You know what it is? And that's the thing, because it's like we associate this shit. Because even when I hear 80s music, I love 80s music, but I'm like, well, that's because I was born in the 80s. You feel what I'm saying? So like, so it's like it's associated with that. And then so now when we hear rap music and we hear little so-and-so or whoever, and you know, they be rapping like this, something like, you know, all that mumble shit.
Yeah,
that's not to niggas nowadays, but to that generation. But we're like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying?
And you know what's funny? As a musician, right? I thought about certain things, and I'm like, yo, you have to be open from the beginning to whenever the end is. And I think most people are literally stuck in their time loop, and to know what generation that you're in, and still think about the generations before and the generations after. It sucks when you get stuck in, you know, you just stay where you at.
Right.
Because nothing moves and nothing happens at that point. That's why, because it took me, I used to hate, like I said, even with the music, I used to hate the new school music. I don't hate it. I respect it. Even if I don't like it as much, I still respect it because.
Nah, that shit trash.
It is trash. But I still respect it though.
No, and that's the thing, because as much as it's trash, what I try to do is I try to say to myself, what is it about this trash that's likable to the listener?
Yeah,
because I think especially when it comes to business, it's like that's how you got to think, because you got to say, well, what's the appeal?
Right.
So if you know the appeal, then you can sell.
Yes,
exactly.
That's the hard part though. But it's like, so sometimes, and this is the thing about business, right? I feel like I was thinking about this all week. I was saying to myself, like, it's weird because I said to myself that I feel like I'm not really that great of a businessman. And the reason why I said that is because I feel like in order to be a really good businessman, a business person, you can't put any emotion or personal opinion in the business.
Yes. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? If you're strictly trying to make money off of what you're doing, like if you're like, look, I have a product, a service, and I'm selling that, and I'm packaging it this way, and I'm trying to give it out to the masses so that I can make profit. Like there can't be any fucking personal. So for example, if I said, yo, I'm gonna open a record label, and some nigga called Lil Iron or Little, Street Sweeper or whatever the fuck these niggas
by the way, but go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And they come to me with their record and shit. And I'm like, yo, this shit is hot garbage. And I'm like, this is terrible. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, if I see the kids rocking to it, nigga, we signing that nigga. You feel me? So it's like, that's all it is. You know what I mean? But it's like my personal opinion is like, in order to be that good businessman, you can't have your personal opinion in this situation if that's, what you're trying to do with that specific thing. You see what I'm saying?
And
it's crazy.
Even if you relate to music or sports, right? Like for me, like some people say, Jordan's the greatest player that ever lived, right? For me, that's Kobe for me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I understood Jordan, but I was still too young to really understand the game. Right. Kobe is really well understood the game. So when they say, "Oh, this person the greatest player of all time," but whose time? Well,
right. Exactly. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whose time? Same thing with music. Biggie, Tupac, hands down. Say one of the greatest rappers that ever lived. Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When I was younger, I didn't understand Biggie and Tupac like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z was that person for me. Mm-hmm. Jay-Z was my Biggie and Tupac.
Right. Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that people have to realize, like, and that's why I say, like, when it comes to different generations, you got to know where you at, but also still be open to knowing what's happening in the other generations, even like I said before or after, and in the current time,
Right. So, and that's interesting thinking about it this way too, because it's like, because when I'm thinking about business, because even with self-help, because this self-help was where I draw the line, because I feel like I could literally be making, like, I feel like me and Miles could be making way more money if we was like, let's just like do business. You feel me? Like we could get on here and sell niggas bullshit and they would eat it up. You understand what I'm saying? So, but I understand that concept. You see what I'm saying? Like, right. Like understand like where they would have someone like the dude on YouTube, Derek Jackson, where he talks to women and he says, "Oh, girl, this and that," and they believe him and they into all his spiel. So I get it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense for him to sell the bullshit because it's like, this is what they want from the generation. This is what they're looking for. So I'm going to give them this, and this is how I'm going to make the profit. So it's kind of like, it's interesting that you say that, because once you think about the different generations and think about how people interact differently now, it's interesting looking at that, because we get all the time, we get dudes talking about, yo, Lucario Miles, yeah, I don't get it, bro. The game has changed. Social media changed the game and blah, blah, blah. So they're talking from their generation. So they're probably Generation Alpha or Generation Z or some shit. Right. You feel what I'm saying? So to them, they think like, or they're like, oh, but this is this thing. This is my experience through this. You see what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
It's funny. You ever call somebody, right? Mm-hmm. They don't answer. Mm-hmm. They posted something on Facebook or Instagram.
Oh, right.
You got them as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
See you? Like, I'm like, so it's like even just like I said, the state of mind of where the person is at literally depends on what generation you're from. Because I know for a fact that 9 out of 10 times they're Generation Z or Generation Alpha who ignored that call and still had the nerve to post on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who was a baby boomer, Generation X, or maybe a millennial would have thought about it and said, "Oh, wait a minute. I just ignored this person. Let me not post this, or let me post this and then call that person right back." Right,
exactly. Right. It's funny. It's interesting. It's interesting too, because now I'm just thinking about all these different things, and I'm just like, I'm wondering why, because what I'm noticing, because even in our field, when me and Miles talk about relationships and stuff, I'm noticing that a lot of Gen Zers and the Generation Alphas, the men have so much trouble dealing with women now. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing like, even they talk about in Japan, where they're like, a lot of the Japanese men aren't fucking nobody. Like there's no sex happening between the men and women out there, mostly. And it's like, and I'm like, I think it's a correlation between, the generation and that particular like topic. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I need to go to Japan real quick.
He's like, yo, these chicks getting dick. I need to go out there.
Nah, but to your point though, Mr. Locario, that is a big thing though, because I mean, with that specific topic, it makes sense naturally though, because right. I mean, for women, they are, and we're all emotional creatures, but right. we express emotions different ways. You got to clean it up. But women express themselves they're very emotional, so they have different mood swings. They have periods and things like that where their emotions are a certain peak. So the reality situation is, our generations, we actually interact with women,
right?
And even if you notice, the person that the people that didn't really get girls or really speak to women were the people that had less interaction with those women, even in our generation.
Right.
So imagine this generation where they have no interaction with women. They don't even know what a mood swing is. They barely know what a period means.
Right.
Like, hey, what? She was just happy, but then she's mad. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the new generation now. So that's, to your point, that's really why they had them problems. They just don't have the experience.
Crazy.
And so,
plane tickets to Japan is $1,700. I don't know.
You really got to go is Iceland, bro. Listen, Iceland, all of the women are whores out there. I'm telling you, like Iceland, they said that Iceland is like the most promiscuous place that you could ever go. You understand what I'm saying? But you gotta like white chicks, but Iceland, the motherfuckers be getting down. That's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to take a trip.
Have you ever been to Iceland?
No, I haven't been there yet. I want to go to Iceland though. We got to plan a trip out there or some shit, because you know what I'm saying? Like shit, man. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's crazy. But it's interesting how all of this, so we're about to wrap up in like 5 minutes, but I feel like that's a very important thing for a business owner or a person getting into business to understand these dynamics as far as generation is concerned. You feel what I'm saying? And like putting out products or because it's like, what's your audience, who's gravitating to what you're doing? Because even when like you try to advertise on like Facebook, Instagram and stuff like that, they'll sometimes have the metrics of like, what's the age group you want to advertise this to. You see what I'm saying? Yep. Which is, I think, is important. You know what I mean?
Even for what we do with life insurance and retirement, when a person is a baby boomer, Generation X, they get it. It's very little explaining to them when I have to do, or even little convincing I have to do when I'm talking to somebody in that age group, whether it's baby Generation X. When it comes to some millennials, Generation Z, Generation Alpha, forget it. But I realized that I also know what's important to them, and what's important to Generation Z and Alpha. They're making money, so then I'll let them know how they can make how there's business opportunities, and also how they can put their money into a policy, and then it grows from there. Right? Because they're young, that 20, 30, 40 years down the line, they'll have a certain amount of money in their account. And some of them still don't care, because what does a 20, 25-year-old care about saving for retirement? The truth is they don't, because they think they have forever to live. But me telling a baby boomer or Generation X about retirement, they with it, because some of them are already there.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Millennials, it's like a perfect time for me to tell them something like that. Why? Because we're pretty much in the middle.
Right.
And I think that's why for us, we got the even though the baby boomers had they had the hugest impact when it comes to business wise, but I think when it comes to morale and personal development, in my opinion, us as millennials, we had the best, because we got to experience things from both ends of the spectrum. Right.
That's some real shit, man. That's some real. This some crazy ass game though, because I feel like it's like, man, like I feel like this is the type of shit people don't really think about. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it affects all types of situations and areas in life, because even as a parent, you're like, yo, you raising kids in this generation, and you from your generation, and y'all looking at each other like, what the fuck y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Thanks.
That's why niggas be like, back in my day, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy, man. Oh my god, bro, this shit.
I needed a phone line to get on the internet. You motherfuckers just getting on it right out the air. How lucky you are, little motherfucker. You don't appreciate shit. My day, if I wanted to see one picture of a naked bitch, I had to wait. It would come on line by line.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yo, I remember beating off to line by line. And not even live, not even like actionable porn, like just pictures.
Right. Exactly.
See her eyes, then her nose, then her mouth, then like the top piece of her titty and the middle piece.
Spice Channel shit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking trying to get the.
Used to put the satellite right in between the channels so you could see the negative of the image.
Mm-hmm. It was crazy. Now niggas can just go fucking on Pornhub at any moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. But anything else y'all want to say before you wrap this up?
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, just contact RKT Appraisals. Because at the end of the day, we got a policy if you're about to die, you want to leave money for your family. You got a policy if you're young, you want to make money. So just call us at any time to set up these policies, life insurance policies, annuities.
Exactly. Facts. Yep. That's why the generation stuff is so important, because you in different generations, you have different type of policies. You know, these guys have, different policies for you to sign up to take care of your family, take care of yourself too, because like I was saying, a lot of these construction, the nursing homes and the 55 and older communities and all that type of shit, like, you're going to need money to get into those type of spaces, because you can't be going up and down stairs your whole life. You understand? And
right.
Unless your ass going to wear one of those bracelets, so when your ass fall in the shower, you could call somebody.
Right.
Yo, don't get it twisted. We gonna get old. Like you can take care of yourself as much as you can, but you're going to get old.
Nah, fuck that. I refuse. I'm on a strike.
We got a policy for denial too.
Oh man. All right, man. So shout out to everybody that's tuning in, man. Make sure you spread this channel around, send it to your friends, send it to your enemies, and we'll make it happen. So we are out of here, people. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. We are